Get ready, Chiefs Kingdom, to unleash your passion and excitement for all Chiefs content. With the up-and-coming sports media company giving you all of the Chiefs coverage. We are raising the decibels and embracing the community of Chiefs Kingdom. Elevate your fandom and join our team who loves your team. Red Kingdom Media. Welcome everybody to the secondary show of the Red Kingdom live stream series, the After Hours, because, well, Daily Dale, partner in crime with me today, it is pretty late, but there's been a lot of stuff to go on over the last 24 hours since your last podcast was recorded and evidently released to the public. So a lot of some scary stuff happened today, huh?
Yeah, man. I mean, got Travis Kelce with that injury that happened at practice, hyperextended his knee. Still don't know what's going on with Chris Jones. He made a post recently earlier telling people to go to the local McDonald's to go buy a flag for $5. I mean, you put it out there. It's like, what, you're saying you're gonna be back? What, we need to be ready Tuesday, tomorrow morning. But man, yeah, it's just, I think right now it's just a lot of worries that's going on with Travis Kelce and that hyperextended knee. They say his ACL is still intact, and that they're going to evaluate tomorrow and see what his availability is going to be on Thursday. So just for that to happen, that's just a good sign in general. That's something Nate Taylor talked about earlier as well too. So I think we shouldn't worry about him being out long term, but it's just a question what's going on this Thursday, if he's going to be able to play or not.
Right. I think one of the most pressing things about it is that, all this Chris Jones isn't here. So how different the game's going to be. The bettors didn't see anything about it. But then the second this Travis Kelce injury comes out, they drop it by a point. So the Travis Kelce not being in a game is enough of a concern for Vegas to change their line a little bit. I think if you had said, can Patrick Mahomes win a game without his second and third, arguably the other two best players on the team besides him, you'd have, some doubts, but I think you'd still choose the combination of Reed and Mahomes putting it together. But it might not be the, 38 to 14 game that people were hoping for.
Yeah. I don't think it was going to be 38 to 14 anyway, just because the Detroit Lions do have a pretty decent offense, and they started getting it going last season. At the second half of the year, Jared Goff started doing a lot better. But I think it's just really only reason why I feel like it was, a 1 point drop off with Travis Kelce due to the fact that he's playing on that side with Patrick Mahomes on the offense, and he's a part of that success in their scheme on that side of getting points. So with Chris Jones, I think they were just saying for the offensive side, it's like the Kansas City Chiefs have proven that they can outscore you to win a game opposed to relying on their defense to finish it off. Now, it's been moments that we were able to get sacks. We saw it in the first Super Bowl against the 49ers where Frank Clark and many others, they was able to clobber Jimmy Garoppolo, get him to, on that last down to, they got to him, affected the play, and they were starting to do it at the second half of that game as well too. But, I think just offensively, with them being so dominant and everybody loving that explosive offense that we have, it was just enough. Okay, this is really the playmaker on that side of the ball. Yeah, it's going to be a 1 point drop off. Now, they're saying we're still going to win the game. We still should win by the 5.5, right? So I think we still can cover the spread. However, it's going to be closer than what we think it is. I know I said in my prediction, I want to see 38 to 21. However, I'm not surprised if we do see, the Lions put up a couple touchdowns throughout that game, maybe get
Mm-hmm.
up to 21, 28, just because they do have an offense that can really put some points on the board, and they got some guys on that side of the ball that is pretty athletic, and it's going to help them make a jump for in the NFC for themselves. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I don't think it's enough to effectively hand the Chiefs a loss right off the bat, but it's going to be interesting to see a game. I'm not sure if it is actually the first time, but a Mahomes game that doesn't have Travis Kelce as a safety blanket, so he's going to have to utilize arguably all 7 wide receivers the team decided to keep, and the other 2 tight ends that are here, and probably a Matt Bushman practice squad call up on game day.
Mm-hmm.
3rd tight end sets. Yeah, I know you and I have chatted privately that I hoped that it would be more of it's first game of the season. Let's show that we can do some running on
Mm-hmm.
teams, and they think that we're just going to come out and throw the ball on them, a la the 2020 seasons. Showcase Clyde Edwards-Helaire, showcase some other guy who's not going to make another impact for several weeks after that, just because that's the way that Andy Reid offense tends to work week to week. So I guess we'll see. So we'll transition to a question that I'm going to try to ask on every game that we have going forward before game day, because arguably there's not going to be many of these games where we choose the Chiefs to lose.
Yep.
So the Chiefs lose this game what has to happen?
I think the defense is, playing that lackadaisical out there. They're not able to get out to the quarterback, especially with Chris Jones maybe not playing in that game. We're definitely going to need to find some ways to dial up some pressure. So if he has time in the pocket, he's able to get to his weapons, and they're just stride for stride with us on the scoreboard. I think that can really play into effect towards the end of the game, not having one of our better playmakers, even though I know with the wide receivers, we have enough to really do and finish the job and really still put up some points. But I feel like if our defense is just having a horrible game and we're not able to stop anything, I think that can be a reason why we actually lose to the team like the Lions. And earlier I actually was having conversations with I said this is honestly the perfect trap game. The Kansas City Chiefs, definitely in the Andy Reid tenure, they haven't lost a season opener. Especially in the Patrick Mahomes era as well too. They haven't lost one at all. So with us dealing with someone on defense not coming back for the first game of the season, who was our best player on that side of the ball, and then leaving one of your all-time guys who was on that offense as well too, and Travis Kelce, I think that's going to play into, okay, how fast can this offense start? Can they get it going quick and keep it consistent throughout the entire game? Or is it going to take him some time to find his rhythm without Travis Kelce, someone that's his safety blanket? So I think all of that comes together to where it could be a perfect formula for the Detroit Lions, to where it play into the Kansas City Chiefs possibly losing their first season opener in a while, especially in the Patrick Mahomes era, and also having us start off the season 0-1.
I've contemplated it myself, and I think I've narrowed it down to like one or both things occurring. I think you have, like I said, the new batch of wide receivers, a lot of them brand new to the team or like just upgrading their role from last year. If they have miscommunications or drop issues or offensive pass interference, anything like that that's going to drive the offense going backwards, I could see as a hindrance to the team. Maybe some new guys, the lights are too bright for them for game one. The pressure's on right then and there. Your first game of the season, there's no hiding from anything or anybody. And because I think the offensive line is going to protect Mahomes no matter what. I think if he's got to be blocked for 10, 15 seconds, we might see a sack or something. But Mahomes is he's too good at getting out of situations like that, and he knows how good his offensive line is now.
Mhm.
But the other way I surmise this, based on the possible turnovers or bad plays by the Chiefs' offensive weapons, if the Detroit Lions somehow get the ball first and they hold on to a lead for a possession or two, I could definitely see them trying to grind out the clock, the keep Mahomes on the sideline technique, where just run their brand new weapon, Jamar Gibbs, to the ground, showcase him the way that the Chiefs showcased Clyde in their season opener.
I mean, honestly, I don't think they're gonna. You can try. I mean, we had some of the best, stars in the game, best game managers go up against Mahomes, and they couldn't hold him to, scoring limited points at that time. So I feel in any situation, if you're going to limit the opportunities with Mahomes, he is going to make the best of it, and he is going to have. He's going to have his way of putting some points on the board regardless. I said before, this is a perfect game to where, if we're driving downfield and you see us in multiple, goal line situations, this is an opportunity for Justin Ross to showcase his skill set, because this was back at a time when Jody Fortson was healthy. He was our guy on those goal line fades where we throw it up and have him go up and high point the ball and break it down because of his height. He had experience at wide receiver as well too, and he's just one of those athletic guys who's a freak of nature and who's able to possess that type of ability. And we got that now with Justin Ross and the wide receiver group, who finally is on the 53-man roster, and now he can go out there, and I can see him putting up way more touchdowns than the yards we see per game that he averaged, just because we already know that they're going to put him in certain packages already, and Matt Nagy and Brett Veach already put that out there as well too, with him, Rasheed Rice, and Richie James kind of being on the later part of that wide receiver depth chart. They're going to find ways to get them involved, and they're going to put them in situations of where they're going to succeed. So I think that's where we can really capitalize and keep it in our favor. But, I don't think Jared Goff is going to have he's not going to be able to keep the ball away from Patrick Mahomes. Already, when we win a coin toss anyway, we always defer and give them the ball so we get it in the second half. That way, we see how you're trying to operate the game, and as you're scoring as well too, along if we're responding back and say at the end of the half, we're tied 21-21 or 17-14, they may be up 3 points. Hey, at the same time, we still get the ball back in the second half, and guess what? We're going to put 7 on the board. Now we're in front of you. Now, guess what? That's what's going to happen from there. You're going to try to play catch up, and that's where they want you to be, because now when you're trying to stay up offensively with us and compete with us, you're going to leave a mistake out there for the defense to capitalize off of. And we saw before in that Chargers games last year, week 2, Thursday Night Football, Jalen Watson, 7-rounder, pick. Everett was tired, lazy on his route. Justin Herbert think he's going to be there. Guess what? We were tied 17-7. We went up 24-17. And that's all she wrote right there. We was able to win the game. So I think stuff like that happens if we just stay on it.
But see, it could go the other way though, and you're just being biased because the quarterback made a good play. You're not pulling back from the other Chiefs years where a cornerback, second year wasn't so good on them. So you can't just assume that any of these guys or put all the pressure on L'Jarius Sneed to have to make a play.
I mean, I'm not putting all the pressure on him, but I'm saying you could, it's a possibility of where you could put them in a situation to where, like, hey, they can capitalize off of it. Because I feel like at any time of that game for the defense, Spags, they're going to be looking for something that they can capitalize off of. If they have that forced fumble or that turnover, or even a turnover on downs where it can shift the momentum, I think that we will try to feed off of that. But
that they're not going to have Chris Jones, so they're going to send a lot of blitzes in order to generate pass rush, in order to get any sort of.
We was doing it with Chris Jones anyway. Were we not?
Yeah, but that holding extra half a second is enough to get a PI call versus a forced throw that's an interception underthrow. It's a game of inches.
It is a game of inches, and anything can happen. It can. However, I'm not trying to be biased. I'll always be real. I'm just not all the way sold on the Detroit Lions as well too. I know they got a lot of young guys on that side of the ball on the offensive side. Now they do have a veteran back, but the thing is, how well is the chemistry? We don't know as much, of course. We will see what the first game entails for both sides of the way for both the Chiefs and the Lions. But with us being the defending champs and coming out there, I just feel like we have the foundation. We have the guys on on the offensive side right now. Defensively, I mean, we're talking about Chris Jones, but we still have guys like Nick Bolton and Willie Gay who can hold it down as well too. We got guys who are great in run defense, and I feel like they're going to be able to fill those gaps and still be able to play the rush well. And we do have big guys like Neil Farrell who's going to be out there. We got Turk Wharton. It looks like he's going to be ready to go. And this is a guy who showed flashes as well too. If he can somehow force and we can find interior pressure with him on the inside, and we able to get a sack or two and feed off of that, I think we'll be set to go. Because once we're able to get him flustered in that pocket, make him get out, make a decision that he's not trying to make, that's when I feel like our DBs can capitalize off of it. I know they're young, but at the same time, I just said it already. Jalen Watson was young last year. He was a rookie who came in and had to fill in when Trent McDuffie went out. So, I mean, I'm not just putting pressure on them. I just feel like something like that can happen again if it goes in our favor. And then I feel from there we can capitalize off of it. That guy Farzan, he actually put up a good stat earlier that was just, it was very amazing. We remember what happened in the Houston game in the AFC divisional round. We was down 24-0. Who was not
somebody not in that game?
Who's not in that game?
Mr. Chris Jones was not in that game.
All right. And we had Anthony Hitchens, Reggie Ragland as our linebackers.
The energy got too much for Houston, so let's hope Arrowhead is the 12th man on Thursday and none of this, oh no, something bad happens, it doesn't matter, because there's 15 false starts in a row for Detroit. But
at the same time, the environment always play a factor as well too. That's why we need y'all out there loud and proud and ready to go, because we always gonna be the 12th man.
That's right.
It's okay. That's what we're there for as fans. So if it happens, we're able to get a couple of false starts, we're able to eat off of that. So be it. That's a part of the game. And anything goes at that time. We're going to take whatever we can to play in our advantage to win. So I'm happy about it. I'm fine. But we'll see. How you feel about it though? Like, what you think?
All right. So that's a great transition, because we're going to talk about what we expect to see on Thursday night, and then also, if a dream scenario occurred, what we would want to see. So, for starters, what I expect to see is a fast start from the Chiefs. They're either going to score first 3 possessions, no problem, or we're going to get it's the first possession of the games. Mahomes is rattled, in quotation marks. He throws some balls a little extra hard that gets dropped or something, a little errant. And then he's like, oh, I'll smack myself and regroup again. So I think the defense definitely makes a stop at the beginning of the game because it's so loud that they have no choice. And then after that, it starts to be a semi-score fest. The Chiefs will score a touchdown, and then Detroit will match it. And they score a field goal back and forth. Then the Chiefs score another touchdown, and then the Detroit only gets a field goal this time. And then they're still playing catch-up, and then eventually the lead gets touchdown away, and they're trying to, get it to 7 even at the end of the game just to make the score look better. But, their offense got really hyped towards the end of last year, so we'll get to see if they are the type to throw for 50 points like Jared Goff previously did against not this exact Chiefs team, but a previous version of this Chiefs team.
That was a Bob Sutton-led defense, by the way.
I mean, I've seen some Spagnuolo defense have some issues. You mentioned Anthony Hitchens. I can picture some AJ. What's the name of the Packers running back?
Aaron Jones.
Yes, I have visions of him running down the sidelines wide open with Anthony Hitchens just running behind him. So I don't want to, but I could see something like there's going to be one group on the defense that Detroit thinks is our quote weakness, and they're going to try to exploit it. And I don't know or want to, predict which group it's going to be. I think the pass rush starts off pretty well, and then once Detroit's offensive line kicks in gear, it'll be up to defending the running back. So it'll be the linebacker's job to either step up or get picked on, and then just keep going back. Then it's the corners, and then during the preseason we saw the safeties being the picked on group during a lot of passing plays. So hopefully fixed. Hopefully that gets fixed.
We said I saw a couple. Somebody mentioned like Mike Edwards. He was having somewhat a little bit of a hard time in the first preseason game against Derek Carr in that group, and also Jameis Winston. They start getting it together, but honestly, the standout in those groups, and we lost one of them, was Halacey, who went to the Browns, and then also Shamari Connor, of course, who's on the roster, who they say can honestly start playing in the box very soon. So with Snead possibly being on limited reps, maybe we'll see some time in there for him to where it matches with the number one defense we have out there for DBs, and maybe it looks a lot better. But I know how you said you think the pass rush or the defensive line that they'll start off pretty quick, or if that's what you want them to do for us to be successful, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's where I'm opposite. I think it might be somewhat of a slow start because George Karlaftis, I understand he started getting hot towards the end of the year, but I'm just worried about him as more of a power rusher to where he's going still mate with that left tackle to where he's just focused on trying to push the pocket opposed to trying to find ways to just maneuver and get to the quarterback. And then also Mike Dana as well too. We have seen flashes throughout his entire time here in Kansas City. However, is he going to be consistent? And then we also have our number one draft pick from this year, Felix. Is he going to be able to just come out and be hot as well too?
Right.
So it's like I'm not going to put that on them right now. But the thing is, I don't know if they start off fast. I think they come into it.
My thought is that like it's so loud, they're ready to go that maybe one of the edge, maybe George gets his first one on a third down right off the bat. Ooh. And then my thinking is that it's going to take a blitzing. It's going to take a Justin Reed to get a sack or a Willie Gay blitz to get one of those other sacks because they just won't feel like they can get it with their 4 down linemen, or they would rather do some sort of trickery and test Jared Goff and figure out if he knows what's going on. So that was my thinking. I'm hoping that early defensive line beating right off the bat happens, but I thought it might just be cool, the game started, let's full speed ahead, and then Detroit would feel that punch in the mouth and respond.
I just really think it's going to take some blitz packages for us to get some early sacks early, or try to gain some momentum with getting him out the pocket and flustering him, and probably convert, getting to a point to where we can get a 3 and out. It's not nothing against the defensive line, but maybe that gives them extra motivation to where now with getting back and touching the quarterback, having that blitz, get him out of the pocket to where you're chasing down golf. Maybe you get him down on the ground as well too. That gives you the needed motivation to where, okay, now I'm ready to go. Like you saying, now you're pumped up. I'm going to be winning my one-on-one matchups. And now throughout the game, we're going to be eating them alive. And then we're good to go. Defense start doing what they need to do, because it is going to start with the pass rush to really help our DBs out on the back end. And that's why I'm worried about a lot. I think we have great DBs to where they're able to hold their man for a certain period of time. But when you having Jared Goff sit in the pocket for 5+ seconds, going past that, where he's just comfortably in there, now he's going to pick you apart. I know that he had a downfall with LA, but he had an uprise in the second half of the season last year as well too. And now with that, with that motivation for him and being able, honestly, one win away from being a playoff team, he's going to now like, okay, I got a young group of guys I can work with. He can mold them to what they want to be. I'm sure that they had some time throughout their training camp and also off season as well too. We're going to have to limit that, because once he's sitting in the pocket and he's picking us apart, that's when it's going to be a long day for the Kansas City Chiefs defense. Now, it's only so much they can do.
Much like the Kirk Cousins approach. If you let him just stay there, he can do his job. If you pressure him a little bit, he could make magic, or he could make other stuff.
You gotta limit those fantastic plays as well too. Those where he just throw it up and a guy's able to go up and grab it, take advantage of the opportunity. Then now, guess what? They have that extra energy, something that they're going to work off of. And I don't want to put that young defense in that position, because on opening night, we know that we're the guys who everyone's trying to knock off. We need to be prepared for that. And just like what we did to New England that year, where we had Kareem Hunt come in, we had Alex Smith. Kareem Hunt had that big game, and we were able to put up. We know it started off slow, but we were able to bounce back, come back, and we end up blowing them out. I don't want that to happen to us the first game of the season. Even though the Patriots end up going out and still winning the Super Bowl that year, but we still have a tradition that we got going on with the season opening wins. So I don't want. So yeah.
All right. So we've pretty much gone over what we think is going to happen. So now, what is our dream scenario that we see in week 1 and think, my gosh, all of my hopes for this team are happening? So I would say the first one that comes to mind is that MVS and Patrick Mahomes finally have this chemistry that we've hoped they've had. Marquez is the body type of a DK Metcalf, just not bulky, but he's got the height, so there's no reason that he shouldn't be able to win jump balls. And now with Tyreek being gone, he's arguably the fastest player than besides Kadarius Toney. You could argue speed versus quickness, but in long speed, running in a straight line, MVS is good at that. But we didn't see the connections occur last year as much or as frequently, or as right into the season as we would have hoped. It took a lot of the season, maybe a little bit in the postseason. Towards the AFC Championship game, you saw a little bit more chemistry, but even in the Super Bowl, he wasn't the main focus. So with his contract being our quote number 1 receiver, we want that output of him. And I don't think it's necessarily his fault or Mahomes' fault, but now that they have a full year together, if we still see those type of issues of having the inability to connect on those long balls, then we might be asking next offseason what our wide receiver situation is again, besides the youngsters that we have. Who is the next older veteran guy the Chiefs might decide to invest in?
Yeah. I think this was probably more than likely going to be MVS last season anyway, just because he's on that 3-year deal. So if we like what we're seeing from the young guys, I think they would have been okay with letting him walk and taking that cap hit. However, if he's willing to restructure to where we lower that and maybe he take a lower deal, just to still play with the Kansas City Chiefs and be a part of a Super Bowl team, now I can still on our roster and just be that veteran presence that we need because he is one of our deep threats that is reliable downfield. Now, it's been times that they were not able to connect, but they were able to connect. Something that we hope from McCole Hardman when he was here as well too, and they just never got that together with one another. That's actually something that I'm expecting with Richie James because we saw it in the first game of the season. Well, he actually did that. I think he did that with our boy Shane Buechele. However, I think he will be able to have that connection with Mahomes as well too, and that's who I want. That's who I want to come in and be a playmaker because he did great things with the New York Giants. That was actually his career year with them, and being able to come over to this offense. This is a style player that we wanted with us. This is something that we wanted to mold Cole into, and he's a playmaker not only in a receiving game but in the punt return game as well too. So I'm actually looking out for him. I think he's someone that can actually shift it and be a playmaker for us on Thursday night. But honestly, really, what I want and what I expect, this is my dream scenario. I want to score every possession. I want to be dominant. I want us to come out to where even if Travis Kelce's not in the game, it's like this is a well-oiled machine where it runs based off of the mind of Andy Reid and the phenomenal future Hall of Fame quarterback Patrick Mahomes. That is my dream sequence. And if we're able to do that offensively, then defensively, I mean, really, I just want multiple 3-and-outs if we can. I want to be able to have 2 or more sacks. I want to at least force 1 turnover, and that's the perfect dream game for me. Of course, the way offenses are built in the NFL now is just it's kind of hard to just limit guys to 0 or 3 points throughout the entire game. But just being able to put your team in position and set up our offense where they're maybe already on the other side of the field due to the fact that we're able to turn over the ball or get us turnovers or downs or just make a play. I just want to put Patrick Mahomes in those situations to where he doesn't have to march down the field 80 yards all the time or 75 yards. He's able to start from like R40 or at the 50 or their 45 or anything like that to where, okay, we were able to make a play defensively. Now only Patrick Mahomes only got to go 35 to 40 yards to score a touchdown. Dream scenario. Perfect. We executing on all phases of football at that moment. So that's what I want. If we can do that, that would be great. I think the last time I seen the season opener like that was honestly after the first Super Bowl win, and I think we played it was the Texans because we was playing Deshaun Watson with them, and we were dominant. Clyde had a great game. He was like our first. Last 100-yard rusher that we had was Kareem Hunt, but he totaled over 100 yards in that game because he did well rushing and receiving. So total yardage, he had a big game. And Patrick Mahomes, they just looked well out there, and they looked like they were all together. So that was the last game I saw to where that was a good first game of the season, and I just want to mirror that situation right there.
I think my dream scenario for Thursday is Detroit gets the ball first. Arrowhead's rocking, so they get a 3rd down sack, and it gets even louder. Chiefs get the ball. Sky Moore takes a slant to the house, and we're all like, "Okay, there we go. All the Sky Moore talk. It's done. He's fine. He's got it." And then Detroit gets the ball back again, and they try to do their normal, and then we get them again. So then we get the ball back. And then, Andy Reid's having some fun, so he thinks that Blake Bell's just going to dominate this game for whatever reason. So he's the next touchdown. So it's 14-0, and Detroit's like, well, it's already a shootout. So their plan of throwing it or giving it to the running backs is already down. So if they're trying to chuck it up to their receivers, then it's up to the cornerbacks and the safety play to figure out whether they can hold the coverage on Detroit's weapons. I think they can in that regard, and then it gets forced to can Nick Bolton or Willie Gay make a play. So another dream is that the Detroit thinks they got it, and then Nick Bolton just forces a fumble on the running back, just nails a legal hit, and then they're demoralized. They're down 3 scores, and their normal game plan of how they like to move the ball is ruined. So they start having to play a game they don't normally play.
Man, that would definitely be a perfect situation going up 21-0. Now they're paying for behind. Now that's where we have the advantage right there. It'd be lovely to really get, Patrick Mahomes out of there by the fourth quarter. If it's a blowout, right? Get Blaine Gabbert out there with the second team, have them get some reps as well to finish off. That's a strong outing for the first game. And and what that does as well too, it puts the league on notice to where it's like this group of guys can do it with anybody. So what the narrative of Patrick Mahomes have all these great weapons, it goes to Patrick Mahomes is the key ingredient to the success on the Chiefs offense. But also at the same time, I love me some defense as well too. If we're able to go out there and get some turnovers, that's awesome as well. Because I feel like we didn't have a lot of interceptions last season at all.
Right.
We had a couple fumble returns. Of course, we saw that with Nick Bolton getting that off on Jalen Hurts and taking it to the house. But Trent McDuffie had a couple where it just hit his helmet or came off his hands. It's like,
yes,
that's my favorite DB on the team, and I'm looking for him to have a big year. So I want to see it. I want to see a pick or two, man. I want to see a pick or two. I want to see y'all playing. I want to see them playing the ball well. Honestly, Williams looked like he had a solid camp and a solid preseason. It's a couple times he went up against those number one receivers where they try to get him on a goal line fade, and he played it very well. He played the ball. They weren't able to go after it just how they were playing, how he was playing them, just up against their body, not even forcing what is a pass interference or anything like that. He just did. He played it very well. So I like the growth that I've seen from him. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I just want to see a couple turnovers, honestly. Just need to see a couple picks out there.
that would make Arrowhead start rocking. So I'm all in favor in that too.
157.
What 158.7. 1587. We have to be so nerdy about it to hit our special numbers, especially as a tribute. If Travis can't play that game, it's like good for you, Travis. We could have 157, but we did our best to get another 8.7 out on the scale for you.
Man,
yeah, I'm excited. I'll be getting there hella early, not the 6 a.m., 7 a.m. wait for the parking lot to open crowd, but early enough to look like a weirdo just chilling, either hijacking somebody else's tailgate or just sitting in my car vibing to myself, waiting for the game to begin.
I think Donna Kelsey's supposed to be out there. I don't know what she's doing exactly. I don't know if you got to pay to be out there by her.
I don't think so, because it's an online event too. So
really?
It starts 4:30 Central Time, which a lot of people watch out for that because we have a video on the channel coming out at 4:30 Central on Thursday, which Dale you can hype up at the end of this live before we head out. But I heard that, so watch that video first. Don't worry, it's not that long. Then you can join back, see the slow introduction that they always do, so you won't miss too much. Hop in, see what that's like, and then about just after 5:00, as soon as the stadium gates open, I'm getting my butt in there and getting inside and getting the vibes of Arrowhead again. Just debate if I want to get some overpriced food in me. And
Oh
then
man,
I'm one of those people that I love to be in my seats as you before you even notice the real players are in uniform, and you just see Patrick Mahomes over there really far away in his sweats just throwing the ball. It's something you don't see if you're waiting for the last minute to get inside. So I'm a
man,
nerdy person
playing
like
some
that.
hoops, playing some hoops before they go back to the locker room and get dressed, man. You know how
That's
they
right.
do.
Patrick playing some DB skills just in case Snead can't go. Mahomes will play both sides, just like Travis Hunter in Colorado the other night.
Yeah, man, that was wow. Travis Hunter had like over 120 snaps, and he
Yeah,
played
dude.
both sides of the ball.
Like no other NFL player had even gotten close to that amount
He
of
had
snaps in
never
any
fought
game
him.
at all. That's that's crazy.
He had
And it's
never fought him.
Dion, so he's gonna say, "I'll do it." Play both sides.
Man, that's not gonna happen at the NFL level. They're not even gonna let that happen at all.
No.
But I like it though. That just make you feel like, man, a player doing that like that against you, he playing like it's. I'm not even gonna say high school because some high school teams don't even do that. You playing like you playing in middle school or something. So, yeah, that's funny. But
All
nah,
right.
but
All right.
what's the plans for out there when you go to Arrowhead? I mean, you might as well let us know what you doing. What's the routine?
Oh my god, dude, that's the thing. I don't have a routine. So I'm one of those just wanderers because I don't
Yeah,
have, it's just Shannon and I going alone.
yeah.
So normally what happens is we'll just chill out because we got a long time to go before we either go inside or know we're going to see something else. So it's a lot of watching and listening to things on our phones and charging the batteries at the
Yeah.
same time. So the phone don't die for later, or noticing stuff outside. And you can tell when some people are the like over generous tailgaters, the kind who are like just like on the lookout for other people, like you over there, get over here, come my tailgate. And then being in the Midwest, you have to say yes, otherwise you're rude. So of course you go over there, you take your food, you say thank you, and then 30 minutes later you're like, oh, I think the game's about to start. I'm gonna start heading over there.
I'll take a plate off of you.
Oh hell yeah.
Let me get a plate. You don't gotta pay for the food inside. So
That's
that's
right.
me.
That's
Give me a
right.
beer or some liquor, and we fine.
So that's why I'm waiting for a group to justify, a big truck with a good sized smoker and a grill that I can just have there in the trunk ready for these occasions, and
Yeah, right.
go hardcore, be there 6 hours early, chill and listen to pregame and watch whatever's happened before from the car. That's what it's all about.
Oh man,
So I'm hoping from this network and my show in particular that I get like, hey, come down to lot C4. We got this car. You'll definitely notice if I see you. So
it's let you know right now. If you watching in, you listening in, you watch it, comment, let us know. Let them know. Let them know what lot to come to. Red Kingdom might be in there.
Especially if you see me walking around where it looks like I'm talking to my phone like I'm one of the weirdos, but I'm actually in one of these with my fellow associates, and you get to talk to them straight away, and then you can hype it up. Hey, yo, guys, tell me what I look like on this show. Did I pull off my segment?
Nah, it's gonna be funny after the Foes game. I hope you can get in right after that game, hopefully after a win as well too. I definitely want to see like the live reactions of coming out of Arrowhead, how it looks, because I know everybody's gonna be talking stuff. They're gonna be bits, and this is gonna be a fun time. And I think we can't lose this game anyway. I got some family up in Detroit ready to talk stuff, man. They ready to talk stuff. They ready to go crazy.
That's funny. Well, we hinted at it earlier, but I think it's fitting that we talk about the uncomfortable conversation still. And then hopefully the last time that anybody feels justified in needing to talk about it again, because I know a lot of the kingdom is pretty stressed that the media keeps wanting to talk about it a lot. And they say, don't do that. You're just perpetuating it. Please be quiet. So you mentioned just earlier that Chris Jones was tweeting, hyping up the Red Wednesday, which I will be out tomorrow morning to be acquiring said flags for the necessary regions of family who aren't available to get it. So,
Yeah.
But you mentioned that, so that made me think that I had the same thought that that seems good, right? Because he's still being a quote company man. We've seen him
Mhm.
like tweets that's like, "Oh, what if he was traded to this team?" He's like, "Ah ha ha, that's so funny." Kind of like,
Yeah.
but to still have this tweet, I don't know if this is like maybe he scheduled this a long time ago and it still went out, but the timing of it, makes it seem like we're supposed to be feeling good about it. We saw reports that the Chris Jones camp is making it out like he doesn't want Aaron Donald money, but when you actually read the terms of what it was saying, when you add up the actual years that are being accounted for, that he is wanting Aaron Donald money, and
Yeah.
it's just the different ways it's being talked about through the different sources based on who's delivering the information.
Yeah.
So it still seems like both sides want to get it done, but they haven't got it done, and it seems all about like a 5 million a year difference,
Yeah.
which to us seems ridiculous when you already have 28 almost 28 million real guaranteed money sitting there that you can physically grab and take, and Clark Hunt has to write the check to for you to put it directly in your bank account. You're ready to go with that, and you're trying to hold out for just a little bit more. I'm not trying to be like anti Chris Jones. I'm trying to stay optimistic that like he will retire a Chief, and both sides want it, but you just now get the impression that like a lot of the team is just done with the situation,
Mhm.
and whether or not some resentment will show up when he finally does come back because he doesn't want to miss out, or a deal finally does get done, God willing. That's still my number one hope, is that they get the extension done, because they can't do anything if Chris Jones finally does come back to the team. They literally have no money to fill the team again once Chris Jones shows up. So, you know, is that some gamesmanship? Like, okay, fine, Chris, you don't want to play, then stay away so you can save us some money right now. Like insider, in, you know,
I,
insider trading type stuff.
I mean, I'm sure they're at the point now. Well, this is just my opinion when I say this. If honestly, if you're not trying to show up, don't show up. But it will be more of a win for them if you didn't show up, because all you're going to do is be hurting yourself in the long run. Of course, your
Mm-hmm.
cap hit will lower for the franchise tag as well too, if they try to franchise you. So at this point, I think they're really saying, "Hey, complete this deal." Or you could just come back and then we can figure this out next offseason or throughout the season. But at this point right now, you accrued already over $2 million in fines, I believe, and that what he feels like he can make that money back. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
so I mean, we'll see. But I'm okay. I mean, I was happy to actually see that tweet go out, because it shows that he's still supporting Chiefs Kingdom regardless, and he
Mm-hmm.
also handling the obligations that he probably had prior as well too. I can understand people will say right now, is he really handling his obligations if he's not there in the building? But that's a different story for another day.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that they're going to discuss between one another. But at the same time, it seems like the reports every time something come out about Chris Jones, at first it was kind of growing up and kind of going against the team and kind of making them look bad and seeming like it was going to be more difficult. But now every time it was a certain number, it was like in the double digits. Now they're talking about 9.5 million away. You just said something about 5.5 million away now or something like that. So it seems like they're working their way up to that number, but they're trying to find different ways to probably manipulate the cap to where he gets what he wants, but also they're still able to make the necessary moves that they need to do. And if they're doing it an extension, it looks like it's going into the realm of, instead of a 4-year deal, it looks like it's going to be around like either a 2 or 3 year deal.
2 years plus this one.
2 year plus is looking like what they're talking about.
So that eliminates some of the concerns that we thought that, maybe Chris Jones wants more years than the Chiefs are willing to. So that doesn't seem like a stickler. Yep. It just seems like the whole new money versus like money that's already on paper, and it being like reported incorrectly. Mike Florio saying that like, oh, look, it's not including that. Well, no other contract works in that way. So yeah, that's my thing. I'm hoping it gets done, and we don't even have to discuss does the defense or a loss or anything bad happening Thursday have any bearing on whether Chris Jones comes back for week 2. I don't think so.
And also, I just want to drop this as well too. This just came out. This is from Fox 4 sports anchor Harold Kuntz. He just said Neil Farrell may or may not play Thursday, but he is ready to contribute if called upon. So the reason why I want to bring that up is I felt he was going to be on the roster for Thursday due to the fact that Chris Jones may not play. So with the may or may not, I think it looks like Kansas City might be waiting for the last day possible for Chris Jones to come into practice, and then they will put him on the active roster if he shows up, and then maybe they'll see how Thursday goes with, putting him in the game, even though he missed that time. So be on the lookout for that. I just want to put that out there.
Tonight was the deadline, so to say. Tuesday was kind of the day for him to even come back to have any chance of playing. But I don't think that was even going to be in the cards. But if Neil Farrell is possibly out, earlier in the week, Brett and Andy made it seem like everybody's good to go, and then yesterday's practice comes out and the same guys are limited. So Tershawn Wharton is limited, and that's another Neil Farrell you just mentioned. So that's 2 defensive tackles right there. And then L'Jarius Sneed being limited like he was from the beginning of camp, and so was Tony. But just from the defensive side, that spells just a little bit of trouble. Not enough to completely scare it off, but just enough that, like, if things don't go well early, then somebody on the team's going to have to step up to swing momentum back on defense.
Well, I like him out there. He needs to be out there. So I think we needed depth for him to play, and I would definitely love for him to be out there. Just see what we have as well too. Maybe it's the may or may not. We talked about, but now when you say that, it could just be they want him to probably go over the scheme a little bit more. They want him to get more reps. They want to just have that time to have him get adjusted into the defense. So that could possibly be the reason why. But it was just reported that he may or may not. But he's ready to go. He has no injury problems. He's perfectly fine. He said he's ready to put on the jersey and put on for Chiefs Kingdom. So I'm excited for it. I think he will. I think he'll be on the 53-man roster come Thursday, though. He'll be called up to play, so I'm not worried.
All right. Well, you mentioned it, but are you calling your shot that Chris Jones' midnight deal does get done, or are you
5 o'clock in the morning? 5 o'clock in the morning when he told us to be up at 5 a.m.
I know,
Maybe.
but it was for a McDonald's because that's when
Hey, but he
officials
probably saying go get your
breakfast.
McDonald's flag at 5 a.m. and you gonna see the deal was done.
God, I mean, that's taking one of those cryptic tweets and flipping it back the
And
other
putting
way.
it together, man. If it's
Tomorrow we'll have convinced ourselves that was him saying he's definitely not coming back. Instead, we'll
right, right.
yeah.
Looks like we got our comment in, our first comment in.
Woo. Who you mean? Who you want to play, Eddie? Neil Farrell.
Yeah, that's what he's looks like. He said he better play. That's why we got him. I don't disagree though. I mean, um, we traded for him in good enough time for him to get some work in as well too. So
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I wouldn't say it's a precaution thing because obviously he doesn't have any injury problems and he had a solid preseason as well too. But it just could be for scheme reasons with Spag defense. Maybe he hasn't been fully acclimated to it yet. And we got Wharton coming back as well too, and we're still running with guys like Noddy, and then we also got Keandre Coburn as well. So we got some guys that are interchangeable and that we can go with at that time. But definitely, I would love to have them out there if we can. So wouldn't be surprised.
So the only guy on the defensive tackle that either is not brand new to the team or had injuries last year is Derek Nottie. And Chiefs Kingdom has their type of feelings about Derek Nottie as a football player. He's a tremendous dog advocate, but very limited. It seems like we have all these run stoppers. And let's see if Detroit decides to actually run the ball with Jahmyr Gibbs.
I mean, they got David Montgomery as well too, so they got a running game that they can actually utilize and use. But honestly, I think with Derek Nottie, it's just like they want to know why he keeps on making a roster. The dude is cheap, and his assignment is pretty much simple. They're not looking for him to go out there and be a guy who can get sacks and just go after the quarterback. He's just there to really be in those moments to where he's in to stop the run. He's a guy who's a body who's rarely moved. So him being in a stalemate, I always say this before, as a defensive line, when you're in a stalemate with the offensive lineman, especially in a run down situation, that's a win for you because the point of the offensive line was to push you past the line of scrimmage. If you're not getting any traction right there to where that running back can get past the line of scrimmage to get like 3 to 4 yards to carry, then right there for the defensive line for a guy like Noddy, that's a win. So we have him in those moments to where we in for run stopping, and he has been effective. And we saw him go in there, had some times to where he chased down a quarterback. He got him out the pocket, but it's not like he did anything to really put that much pressure on it. But his assignment is simple. And that's why I think that's why he's always on a roster. It's always good to have a body like that, and he's not pushing to make no more money. He's not getting more money anywhere else, so he's looking like, hey, might as well stack up these championship rings, right?
It's the reason why Clyde and Justin Watson are still on the team, despite if anybody in Chiefs Kingdom having their way, they wouldn't have been.
Yeah,
because they thought he was going to take a spot from somebody else more deserving. If the only reason you guys don't want a player is because you don't think he's athletic enough, I mean, the team does not care. If they think you're smart and you have a skill set, they will utilize it in a way that benefits the team. So if they didn't think they were valuable in some regard, they wouldn't have brought them here. So just remember that.
and people get used to, they see other teams and see like the type of players that they have on their roster as well too. I know that we went to Justin Jeffersons of the world or the Jamar Chases, the Stephon Diggs. However, we got to think about the money that we will spend. We got to think about long term as well too, just for the team. And the Chiefs, they already put like what they're showing us right now, even with not even trying to extend. Well, they try to extend Tyreek Hill, but not getting the deal done. They're not looking to overpay in certain positions like that. They pretty much overpaid in the position that they wanted to overpay in, and it was quarterback. And even though it's not an overpay now, it was at the time. and we know what we had. That's all it is to me. So, I mean, we're building through the draft. We got a lot of options that can honestly be in that category if they keep on moving up within their skill set and getting better each year. We already know we have a guy like that in Justin Ross who can do that, especially if he stay healthy and we start seeing him get more targets as well too and start flourishing in his offense. You have that guy that we were looking for, and it's going to be at a cheap cost for a while as well too. I'm excited about that.
Yep, we're gonna have to get used to all these guys looking really good and then getting paid somewhere else and then not looking as good, or maybe being that type of guy. And we'll see if any one of these comes back to bite us. But the Chiefs just haven't had a resource to get a, game breaking type of weapon. They've tried on the later rounds and they've bunkered the second round the last couple years as the round to give it a try. But I think maybe there's that hope that any of the R last name receivers turns into a Antonio Brown or DeAndre Hopkins type of receiver that is big but also catches everything and imposes fear into opposing defenses. So will that happen? And are they the type? I don't know. Rashee Rice had some struggles early, and Ross is getting a whole bunch of hype immediately. I don't think they're going to hit right off the bat, and I think Rice has less of a chance to spark as much as Ross does. I mean, and Ross didn't play, but he has the benefit of having been on the team for an additional year to just be like in Andy Reid's playbook studying while he's been injured. So just having that study time can save you and helps you get on the field for Andy Reid because he makes sure that all of his players know what they're asked to do. And receiver is an even harder position to play for Andy Reid because they have like several different adjustments based on what the cornerback is doing or what the safety is doing. So they have to know the system inside and out, and they have to also know what other people, like the other receivers, what their routes combinations are as well. So that's why. Go ahead.
So do you think Rashee Rice is actually going to be the guy who is underused in the system due to like you feel like he's going to move down, and Justin Ross is going to be the guy who probably get more targets than him? Just wondering.
Yeah, I think for starters, probably that new rookie second round pick effect because you're going to have Marquez on the field most of the time. You're going to have Sky Moore on the field most of the time. And then for security's sake, you're going to have Justin Watson on the field a lot. And then that's when you're going to bring the Richie James on as the gadget player or the extra speedy wide receiver. And then Justin Ross becomes the jump ball, or we're already in the red zone. So here's your one-on-one matchup. So I think Rashee Rice has the talent to be a combination of all those guys.
Yeah. His hands was just questionable in that well, it's been questionable throughout the whole preseason. He had it the worst in that last game of the preseason. But his play style, for some reason, is why I'm not going to lie, and it's not a hot take, but depending on the opportunities he get, I think he could actually gain more yards than Justin Ross this season. Just because I feel we're going to really. I don't think we're going to just take it too slow with Justin Ross, but I don't think we're going to just try to stress his body, especially with the injuries that he dealt with. We want to get him back feeling good. And when he caught that first touchdown in the preseason, we start seeing him get more alive. He was getting open. We were seeing him break guys off in his route running tree as well too. Just on a couple of plays, we saw it multiple times. But with Rashee Rice, it's just. I feel him and Sky Moore is going to play more of that juju role with some of those quick slants going across the middle. And Oddly, he was winning some of his matchups as well too. He's just going to have to get used to he like to catch the ball with his hands, and maybe sometimes just depending on what it is, he might have to be a body catcher just for him to make sure he can secure it, and then he does what he do best after he gets the ball, and then try to make a guy miss, and we can go from there. But
a la the Sky Moore issue last year.
Exactly
why he's having issues with punts because the guy has never caught a ball without using both of his hands. So.
Exactly, and the thing is that was on his scouting report as well too. Is he liked to use his hands, so when in situations what we saw it in the interception that Sky Moore, it wasn't Sky Moore's fault. But when Patrick Mahomes threw it to him, Sky Moore then attacked the ball, opposed to he was trying to catch it going away and leaning back. But Rashee Rice, he likes to attack and goes towards it. So you're probably not going to see often those picks to where they're flying in and getting it off just because he's attacking it his theme as well too. And that's going to, allow for us to, either it's going to be a drop or it's going to probably be a snag on his part, and he's going to have to work a little harder for those extra yardage. But if he get his hands down and he just work on that and he focus in, I think the thing is he's scared of contact, and that's was something that was on his scouting report as well too. If he's just aware of that, okay, I'm going to be hit, just focus on bringing it in, that's going to be more wins for him. But when you're working on those slants and on those short yardage route running, that route tree, hey, he can have an advantage, and I can see him out there on the field a lot more. But it's going to be dictated off of who Mahomes is targeting the most. Honestly, if he start having that connection with Rashee Rice at the beginning of the season, he might get more targets than Justin Ross. But like I said, Justin Ross, if he's on the goal line and he got those fades on the goal line to where he's one of those jump ball opportunities and scoring a lot of touchdowns, that's going to give him a lot of opportunities as well too. I just want to see what Andy Reid going to do.
Right.
It's a lot. We talking about all these different parts. We talking about the important people that's just going to be out there already because that's who we used to and who knows the offense. But you got all this talent with the young guys who can do a lot. It can make your offense a lot better. It just, I don't know. I don't know.
Right. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Andy Reid's had 7 months to sit around with his cue cards, asking everybody in the building if they got a play call they want to run.
But we're not even talking about Kadarius Toney.
I mean, we'll have to see how much we see of Kadarius Toney.
We gotta see, but he ready to go Thursday. I think he's gonna be out there on the first play. Regardless, I think he's definitely gonna be out there on the first play. Got to. Sorry.
Okay. Well, that's an easy bet. But then when you bet if he'll be on the field for the second play, that's when you might have to risk
All right,
it.
I'm going with he playing 60. He gonna play 60% of his snap. Yeah, he gonna play 60% of his snaps. Right, I think he's gonna have a decent snap count. I wouldn't be surprised if he's limited, but I think I just want everybody to keep in mind, the surgery he went through. I feel like the Chiefs are just on top of it, and they just want to make sure everything is cleaned up. And with the training staff that we have as well too, and it seems like he has a relationship built with them as well, I'm confident that he will have a solid season. And I don't think Andy Reid is going to overwork him as well too. But I do think we see him a good portion of the game. I think he has some type of impact in Thursday night game. So I'm willing to bet on you, KT. Don't disappoint me, man. I'm willing to bet on you, bro.
I was saying like maybe 25%. Are you saying 60% even if we murder Lions, or you're going to have to use 60% of the snaps because that's what it could take?
That's what it could take, honestly. I feel
if none of the like you said a few minutes ago, if none of the other wide receivers have that connection with Mahomes, he's throwing it to every other guy twice and either no real gain of yards or a drop or something like that.
Yeah, man.
Because I think it's going to come down to whether or not the guys that have already been with Mahomes for a while doing the quarterback camp, whether they can have that chemistry to get those 5 targets in a row and move the chains when they're asked upon. I want that from MVS. I want that from Sky Moore.
Exactly.
I'm pretty sure Justin Ross was in that group, and that's
He
why
was there.
I thought that's more likely to get that early connection than the Rashee Rice, because we really did not see Mahomes throw it to him in preseason. And I think when we did, it was one of his drops and then a quick throw that didn't really showcase it. So that connection isn't quite built up. So I'm ready to see who will step up, especially without Travis Kelce likely for this game, that they're going to need to find out who their offensive weapon is. I mean, the obvious, actual correct answer is Jerick McKinnon, because that's always how it works. He's always somehow getting the touchdowns. He's getting the catches. A screen pass goes the distance. Andy Reid calls it at the perfect time. So arguably, that's probably the guy who's going to be feasting the most. And when it's the running back getting most of the yards and the catches, you think, oh, no, the offense didn't do well today. But I don't think Andy cares about what it looks like. If it's the most effective game plan to win the game, that's what it's going to do.
All right. I think it's gonna be a lot of screen action. Jet is he's gonna get his for sure, and we know how effective he is in that screen game as well too. And with Travis probably being out that game, of course that's what we're gonna lean on in a short yardage game as well too. So I wouldn't be surprised, but in his absence, I do expect Noah Gray to step up. I really do. I saw that connection he had with Mahomes last year. He was someone as well where when Mahomes gets out the pocket, he understands how to find the soft spots as well too. He's been working with Travis Kelce on that, and I think he's going to be able to flourish and really take over that role to where they're not going to be expecting that from him, and he's going to be the X factor in that game just because I feel he has a skill set, and he does good after the catch as well too. Once he get his hands on the ball and he secures it, he's able to get a few more yards and honestly extend the drive at times as well too. So that's my X factor coming in. It is Noah Gray, just because I think he's going to get those reps. He's already going to be moving around a lot anyway as well too, because he was going to be our fullback essentially with Travis Kelce in the game. So I think he's going to get more opportunities to prove that, hey, I can be that guy when Travis Kelce get old as well too. And I'm still here. So we've been trying to find that second guy. We've been wanting Jody Fortson. And honestly, I think Jody Fortson kind of exited himself out of the conversation with that injury this year. So it's more than likely we might not see him next year. So this is no great chance to be like, hey, we good.
I agree with you 100%. I was going to say one of the things that might showcase this game is how well the Chiefs handle a backup of Travis Kelce, because Noah Gray is essentially Travis Kelce light, but we haven't seen him. Yeah, exactly. We haven't seen that, flesh out. And I have the thought that, they get to their scramble technique and he's supposed to play the Travis Kelce role, and they don't have the 6 years of playing with each other like he and Travis do, that he knows what Travis is actually going to do. So, maybe they're having conversations tonight and tomorrow saying, hey, if you move this way. But I just don't want to miss a misconnection happen there because, there's Kelce. Oh, wait, that's not Kelce.
And you know what? Honestly, it was a play last year, and I think it was against the Bengals. Mahomes scrambled out the pocket. Noah Gray was already downfield, and he kind of did something weird where he turned around and got in position, and then Mahomes threw it, and he was able to come down with it. Threw it pretty high, but he was able to come down with it. That stuff I like to see. It's like, okay, this is stuff he was doing with Travis Kelce. If you're able to do that in his absence or when he's out a couple plays in the series, that's a plus for us to where, even if you're gone, you still have this. You still have a safety blanket that can come through. And I feel we're talking about all those other guys, but I think Noah Gray really is going to be a safety blanket that he still utilizes in this game. Just because that's something you do. If he's going to be playing that Travis Kelce role, he still might have that mindset of like, oh, this is what Trav will do. And he might be expecting Noah to really know what to do in those moments. And he might actually execute. And then we see like a plus where it's like, I like that.
Right.
This is going to be solid.
I see what you're saying. He's been in the system long enough to have at least picked up on
pick apart what he's doing.
Yeah. Yeah, I get you. Yeah. It'll be fun, dude. I'm very pumped for the game. I was telling Shannon, it's like after tonight, just hibernate as much as I can on Wednesday.
Yeah, we've been doing a
ready
lot
for a long Thursday.
Y'all need to get ready for that game on Thursday. You need to break.
and then I got KU football that Friday night. Ooh. So I'm like waiting for Saturday to just hibernate again for a while and then wake up when another intriguing matchup I like comes on. So
yeah, I'm gonna see what's going on this weekend as well too. The game that I was watching mostly this weekend was Colorado and TCU. I had to watch post prime, and boy, them boys look tough. And then I was watching Ohio State for a little bit as well too. They look like they having some quarterback problems. I don't know how good I don't think they're gonna have a solid year this year. But all them other games was blowouts. Oklahoma blew out Alabama State 73-0. I was like, college football is really back. The blowouts are here.
Week 1 is here. The cupcakes have arrived. Gotta wait halfway through the season for some good matchups. Some more competitive ones. The whole talk is Colorado that good, or is TCU gonna actually just a bad team overall and just being overhyped? I guess we'll see.
Yeah, bro. They look good though. Honestly, their offense look good, but defense look horrible. So,
I mean, college football defense is like that. I mean, we're
well, you know what they say about Big 12. Colorado eventually going to be in the Big 12. We know that's coming up this year, so they already got that dynamic down. Great offenses, but horrible defense. So.
Yeah, bad defense, but yet perfectly good NFL drafted defensive players.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, like Sauce Gardner. He's
from Cincinnati.
He's not Big 12, but that will be a Big 12 school. Chargers like the Oklahoma linebacker Kenneth Murray a few years back. So
I mean, even Travis Hunter now, where are you playing cornerback? He's literally, they say he can be like the number 1 cornerback, but you see that defense, everything that was coming his way, he was stopping. Everything going everywhere else, not so much, but but still. So.
Play that Dion role. It's like I'll help on offense if I need to, but nobody better be looking at my side of the field.
Right. So, yeah, I'm excited for Thursday. It's gonna be fun. Arrowhead's gonna be rocking. I'm gonna have to hurry up home from work, be listening on the phone, then come back, get ready to do this post game as well too. So it's exciting, it's fun. We here. Chiefs football is here. With 2 days.
You come back, you're gonna watch that game, you're gonna study, you're gonna get some notes, and then you're gonna come back on here and you're gonna tell the lovely people what all we saw and what we should be drinking our celebrations later into the evening, or talk about what we got to work on for next Sunday's game. But we'll be here regardless.
Right. So,
well, Dale, we've gone on a while. Thank you so much for joining me on this late night edition of the After Hours. I'd love to do this more during the season. You know, we got our curated content. Mine dropped earlier last week after the 53 was defined. But now that we're officially at the end of the video, why don't you go ahead and plug what's coming out on game day?
Yeah, so Of course, I got my video series is coming out. It's going to be called Extra Point with Billy Dill, and pretty much we're just going to be diving into some pregame topics beforehand, where you're going to hear me narrate a couple of my articles that I have. Also, going to be doing that for some post games as well too, and just really with any content that we have Chiefs related that we feel like we got to put out there and have a discussion about. So my video series is going to be a quick, about 4 to 5 minutes. A video of just a breakdown for you guys to look into and enjoy. It's going to be a great time. That most definitely that we're just trying to put out the best content for you guys and give you the best fan experience. So we got that coming. And also we just dropped our other episode for opening night expectations as well too with me and Lonnie. So go ahead and check that out. Tap in with that, and also tap in with Clinton videos as well too, home of the Chiefs. So we got a lot of stuff coming out, man, and I just want y'all to have fun with us, enjoy this process. We're just trying to put a lot of things together so we can have a good time, and I definitely want to do more of these live streams. And remember, y'all can comment as well too. Drop it. We're gonna put you on screen. Don't get scared.
That's right.
You talk stuff in on football groups. Come on here and talk stuff now.
That's right. It just takes two or three people who are just like us, just wanting to talk to anybody about them. And they're going to jump in and they're going to say, hey, these guys are nuts. They've been live streaming for like 2 hours now. And they're just talk about anything. So go ahead and join it and act like you're just having a beer with your buds. That's what it's all about, man.
That's what it's for. That's why it's after hours. Red Kingdom Hangout.
That's right. There's no filters here. We could go wherever we feel like going. No
facts.
So thanks, Dale, for joining. As you heard, go check out his Chiefin episode that dropped this morning if you haven't already, and look out for his extra point video on game day about 4:30 Central Time. Like I said, watch that video and then join the Chiefs tailgate. And then we will be here that late Thursday for the post-game show, and then before your weekend is over, I will be back for a Home of the Chiefs episode with Shannon, and we're going to be basically talking about what fan stuff we got to see throughout Thursday and what it's like to be back in the mode and figure out how that banner night was, and just get geeky with you guys. And if you're around for that episode and want to talk about your thoughts and how you guys took banner night, you said we'll show it on screen. We'll talk about it and get you involved. Well, we've gone quite enough for you guys, so we'll let you guys have the end of your evening. And if you're fortunate or kind of you to watch this the next morning, thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoy our conversation. And please leave comments on those playback videos, and we'll feel free to reply to those or bring them up in a future video. So if you respond, you will get notified, because we love getting people involved. Yes, like and subscribe. I gotta come up with a phrase to teach you and I that counts for everything. So it's like a follow or share, like or 5 stars, comment or reply, like something like that. It's like it applies everywhere to everything. So wherever you decide to watch us, please interact with us and please share us and please support us however you can. All right. Well, I'm going to be closing this, guys. So thank you so much.
Have a good night.
Woo, woo. Thanks, Dale. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope you have a great rest of your evening or next day, depending on when you see this. And as always, go Chiefs!
Thanks for checking out this update straight from the heart of Chiefs Kingdom. We appreciate your passion, so please leave a like and follow us wherever you tune in from. See you next tailgate, your trusted source for all things Chiefs. Red Kingdom Media.